What's up, dude?
Hey guys, what's up, man?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good, good. Limberlost, Steve and Devon Unger, welcome to RockEyez, man.
Thanks for
Right on,
having
man.
us.
Cool, cool.
Good to be here.
Congratulations on Beautiful Scars, which comes out June 13th,
Mhm.
independently, right?
Yep.
Cool, cool. You like working independently better than with a label?
Well, I mean, we do work in conjunction with some labels, but when you're doing things yourself, things seem to get done a little bit more because nobody cares about yourself more than yourself,
Right.
right?
Yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
nobody's going to work harder for you than you.
Cool, cool. Now, I was watching the video for Alien this morning. In 4 days, 90,000 views. Is that a major or what?
It's past 100 now.
Yeah, it's over 100 now. We're pretty
Wow.
excited about it, man.
That's cool. Great tune, too. You
It
know,
is,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I like that song a lot.
very good, very good. Actually, the whole album's good. So, just reading some of the reviews, this one website called Indie Shark website, they say it as the best album of an unsigned band.
Really?
And,
No, I didn't even know that. That's cool.
yeah, for the year. Yeah, already. They think it's the best album out. So
Yeah, there's more coming. Every song on the album's good, is
Yeah.
like you said, dude. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see the growth from video to video because you get a couple 100,000 views this video. Next video maybe you'll get 400,000. Next video maybe it'll build on top and stuff like that.
Just keep on growing.
yeah. So who does the writing and who does the music in the band?
Well, pretty much the brainchild behind the band is Brittany and Mike. They they have done everything and they handle all the behind the scenes work. For myself, it's kind of nice to be in a situation where somebody else does all that kind of stuff because I've always been the guy that has to do it, and it's a lot of work. But these
Right.
guys, Mike and Brittany, they live, they eat, they sleep, they breathe Limberlost, and they essentially the band kind of disbanded. I don't know, must have been about close to a year ago, I guess, after
Uh-huh.
their European tour. And Brittany and Mike went back to Texas, and they basically wrote this album. And when they sent us, the tracks to listen to, they actually reached out to us to see if we knew somebody that would be interested in playing for the band.
Right.
And I've known Mike and the guys for Jesus 12, 15 years, I guess. And I always thought they were a great band. Anyway, when they sent me the stuff, I was listening to it, and I'm like, damn, this stuff is really good. And then I reached out to my son Devon. Now they asked Devon to go play guitar for him. Last summer?
They've asked me multiple times because they needed like a fill-in guy or whatever, and I always just had like other stuff going on. I'm with a couple other projects and stuff. So, but then they reached out again to me, yeah, like 6 months ago, maybe like that,
Yeah.
about this, and then I didn't get back to them because I actually forgot to respond to it, and then my dad sent me the songs. He was like, "Have you heard their new stuff?" I was like, "No," but I forgot to get back to him, so I listened to it and was like, "Damn, it's really good." It's like way different than all their other material because I played a bunch of shows with them like in other bands and stuff. Like I've known them for a long time,
Right.
and this material is way better. It's like just so much more its own thing.
It's a step above, man.
Yeah.
When we heard it, they called us looking to see if we knew somebody that would fit, what they were
Right.
looking for, a bass player and a guitar player. And I called my son. I'm like, Devin, you got to hear this stuff. And he calls me back like an hour later, which is about how long the album is. He's like,
Right.
man, dude, this stuff was like Grammy winning award shit. We gotta do this. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I called Mike back and I was like, hey man, I think I found you a bass player and a guitar player. And he's like, oh, let me grab a pencil and paper so I can write down some names and numbers, man. I was like, you're already talking to him, man.
Cool, cool. Will this be a touring band or just a project band?
It's the touring band.
Uh-huh. Cool,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the goal. I mean that's where money's made these days. So
cool, cool. How you gonna have time with all the other projects you guys do?
Yeah.
well, there's 24 hours in a day. A guy only needs to sleep what, like an hour and a half or 2 hours, maybe.
Uh-huh. Wow.
7 days in a week, man.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah, you just have to, you got to prioritize things, and everybody's got to be accepting and flexible with everybody else's schedules. But I mean, when something's on the calendar and you've agreed to it, that's where it's at, you know.
Cool, cool. Devon, can you tell me anything about Circus?
Well, we're currently in the process of recording more songs right now. We're reevaluating a few things and figuring out a better way to go about what we're doing. And right now we're just trying to get as much stuff written and recorded as we can, because I'll be bouncing, back and forth probably between Limberlost and Circus. But Circus is more focused on the online presence right now, and we're trying to get more of those numbers up. So it shouldn't be an issue at all.
Right. And Steve, what about Autograph? Are you done with that, or are you still part of that project?
Oh, well, when shows come up, Autograph doesn't play a whole lot. We get calls, and we usually have a month or two in advance of when weekends are going to come. But Autograph doesn't tour per se. They're all like weekend fly-in dates. So even if I'm out on a Limberlost tour, I just be like, hey, I might have to duck out for one day. I'll fly out and catch up to you in the next city or something like that. So anything you want to do bad enough, you can find a way to make it work. I've been doing it now with Metal Church, Autograph, Alive 85. I try not to miss any Circus shows. So, it's a lot of travel, and it's a lot of extra work and a lot of extra stress. But, if it's something that you love and you want to be a part of, then you figure out a way to do it.
Cool. Steve, can you tell me anything about Where Angels Suffer? Because, I was familiar with you in that band. And I don't know whatever happened. It just fizzled out and stuff like that. But I still talk to Rich and stuff like that.
Rich is a great guy. I love him, man.
Ain't he? Yeah.
What an amazing singer too, huh?
Yeah.
So Where Angels Suffer was probably my favorite band that I've ever played in. I mean, I was in a band with a bunch of basically rock gods. I mean, Chris Holmes, Randy Piper, Stet Howland, and these are guys that, when I was growing up as a kid, I had Wasp posters on my wall and shit. And I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm playing in a band with these guys right now,
Right, yeah.
And the material, the Animal material, and we redid it. We turned it into Where Angels Suffer. Dude, it was like rock solid stuff, man. And I loved the music. I loved being in the band with the guys. And then it just kind of turned into some personal differences between Randy Piper and the rest of the guys in the band. Right. And it just kind of fell apart from there.
Right, yeah.
It's a shame, because it was a really cool band. We did a lot of cool things. We actually went over to Europe a couple of times. We did some European runs, and the festivals and stuff. We tore the place apart, man. It was awesome.
I did an interview with Chris Laney about 2 months ago, and he's telling me he's working on putting out a CD with Animal and stuff like that. He just said he had to find the right label and stuff like that to take on that project. Did you hear anything about that?
I heard that I don't know if they're re-recording stuff or if they're recording new stuff. I don't know exactly what the actual material is going to be, but I did hear that he's doing some stuff. But Chris is always doing something, man. He's either Pretty Maids and all the other stuff that he does. But that guy is a goddamn genius, man. He's a writer, and his skills in the studio are unsurpassed. And unfortunately, I've never seen the guy play live. But when he came here to Seattle, we went and we hung out. We spent a few days together, and I love that guy.
Cool. Yeah, definitely amazing guy. I know him a long time because he produced probably one of my favorite albums by a band called Crash Diet, and that blew me away. That was like a glam type band that had power, like a Swedish Guns N' Roses type band, you know. So he's a good friend of mine and stuff like that.
What was the name of that band?
Crash Diet.
Crash Diet.
Check it out.
That you guys played with at Studio 7?
Or Crash Karma?
No, I know Crash Karma. That's a different band. No. They were a band from Europe that you guys played with at Studio 7.
The blonde singer?
The blonde singer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I don't remember.
Do they have a blonde singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks just like Duff from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, you got to check them out. Check out.
I think we've done a show with them. Yeah.
Since Circus played with those guys in Studio 7.
Cool. Yeah, you got to check their videos out. The song called Riot and Everyone. Check it out on YouTube. You'll be amazed. What a fantastic band and stuff like that. So when you guys go on tour, if you do go on tour, you think it'll be mainly United States?
Well, I hope we get to go other places in the United States. I mean, I think the Limberlost material would go huge in Europe. I mean, to me, this stuff is amazing. Doesn't matter if you're in America or Europe, but I know the response.
Yeah, they dig it there.
Yeah, I know the response of the European crowds, and I think that they would really eat this stuff up.
I think these songs could literally go to a lot of different countries and do really well. Like, especially like places like Europe and shit that, there's a lot of rock and there's a lot of metal stuff still going on there. Yeah, I mean, if it can make it in the United States, it could probably make it somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, things are tougher to break here in the States than they are, over in Europe, just because, Europe, that's what people do. I mean, they go to festivals and they go to concerts and they support music. Here, there's so many subgenres of the different kind of music that's like, well, are you a country guy? Are you a rock guy? If you're a rock guy, are you a glam rock guy? Just a 80s rock guy? Are you a heavy rock guy? Are you a metal guy? Are you a heavy metal?
Not only that,
black metal,
Not only that, but it's actually way more expensive to promote, to do things here. It's more expensive to promote online campaigns and stuff to the United States, like 3 times more expensive than anywhere else. So it takes like a lot of money to really get seen, Right. So if you can bust over 100,000 views in America naturally, organically in 4 days, I think it could do pretty good elsewhere too.
Do you feel America is really catering now to the tribute bands or cover bands compared to originals?
I think that's where a lot of musicians go, because they haven't made it with the original music, but they want to play music, so they play covers in casinos and stuff. Pay them a lot of money to do it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, do they cater to it? I mean, it's a tough.
Cater to it.
It's a tough question, because I mean, if you want to go see Guns N' Roses, what's it going to cost you?
Right.
$400 for a ticket to go see a Guns N' Roses show?
Yeah. Not even a good ticket. Not even
a good seat. But you can go and you can see a Guns N' Roses tribute band, for $25 somewhere. And, they're not Guns N' Roses, but I mean, for a fun night out and everything like that. I mean, by the time you spend $400 on a ticket, nobody goes to a concert themselves. So it's $400 times 2 tickets. So that's $800, $100 to park, and of course, God forbid you want to buy a beer at the concert. It's like $18 for a beer. I mean, it's not cheap to go and get yourself a good time at a concert these days, which is a shame. Because there's been a lot of bands that have come through town, and I'm just like, man, I would really love to see that. I'd really love to be there for that show, but I'm not dropping $1,000 to go see a band.
Right.
Yeah. The last time Kiss came through town, and Kiss has been my favorite band since I was like 5. I wasn't even gonna go. I was like, I've seen them like 55 times, and dude, it was, tickets were not cheap. And then my son bought me 2 tickets for Christmas. So I got to go anyway.
Wow. Yeah, I just, over the last 2 weeks, I got to see the Ace Frehley band, and I also got to see the Gene Simmons band. Both still amazing. Ace is lacking a little bit, but
I agree.
Gene, totally professional.
Gene's on fire. I was at Gene's very first show of this tour. It happened right here in Vancouver, Washington, at the Ilani Casino. That's where they kicked off show number 1.
Right.
And I was there all VIP and everything, so I was sitting right in the front row. And Gene was on fire, and I can imagine that they've only gotten better.
Right.
Because that was 6 months ago that I seen him.
Yeah. I only saw him last week, and he was amazing.
Yeah.
And 16 songs, almost 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So
that's a pretty good gig for like a musician though, dude. Like, to just be a hired gun for like Gene Simmons. All you gotta do is play every night. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Steve, if you had a choice between download, cassette, vinyl, or CD, what would you pick?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, I am still kind of, I guess you would call me a dinosaur. So an actual CD. I like having a physical CD. I also like having the vinyls, although I'm not really home enough where I sit home and I listen to them. But I like to have them and just put them away and just know that I have them as a collector's piece. But as far as like the practicality thing, I
Right.
like having a CD, man.
Cool.
And the downloads are kind of cool because you can, when you're on your phone and you're traveling and stuff, you can just hit a download. But the beautiful thing about the beautiful Scar CD with Limberlost is it comes with free download. So if you buy the CD, you can also download it on your phone.
Cool.
You know,
Definitely. How about you, Devon? What would you pick?
I think that I think the CDs are always been kind of my go-to because like if I'm driving in the mountains or something, I don't have any service. I can't listen to my phone. So it's like I like having a backstash of CDs for sure. Like at least 5 or 10 really good CDs on hand, and then if I'm driving around town or something, I have a lot of service. I'll just go on Spotify or something. That's how I'll find new bands, right? I'll find new bands by going to Spotify and stuff. I found some of my favorite bands just by like going to a band and looking at their related videos and then looking at that band's related video. I dig for really good bands, and I found some of my most favorite bands that way. So I like being able to find stuff with the online streaming platforms, but I always have CDs in my car just in case I lose service or whatever.
Steve, if a band was trying to break into music and ask you recommendations on pros and cons, since you've been in the music business a long time, what would you tell them?
Get out while you can.
I believe it.
No, what I would tell them is, you just be true to yourself, man. You have to be you, because if you do something that somebody else has already done, you're just regurgitating what's already been done, and you're never going to gain that much ground. You can only become what you want to be if that's who you are, and you just are naturally that person or that band or that group of guys. There's something that makes you special. So you need to stick with that and run with it, man. Take the ball all the way to the finish line,
What are you guys' hopes once this album's released next month? And what do you hope for?
I want $1 million in my bank account.
Me too. Me too.
I want a private island in the Bahamas.
Me too.
And I want a 30-foot yacht sitting out front with a couple of island girls fanning me and feeding me grapes. And then I just want to get the phone call that says, hey, man, we're going on tour from here to here, and you're going to make X amount of money. And I'm going to be like, I'm in.
Cool.
Not asking for much, is it?
Nah, just a couple things,
Right.
I'd like to see it continue to grow at the same rate. So I'd like to see it now. Okay, so we got 100,000 views this video in 4 days. Cool. When the next video comes out in 4 days, we should have 200,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to see the algorithm take this and keep running with it and running the numbers up and up and up and up and up and up and up like that. Because like in order to make real money, you have to have millions of followers.
Right.
Millions. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He wants to see it grow. I just want it to be grown.
Cool. Steve, how much of a difference is the music world today when before, like in the early days, the 80s and stuff, everything you had to mail. You get a press kit now and stuff like that. Now, basically, your PR people do is push a button and send out emails.
Electronic. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if you remember the days or not when you were out on tour and you had an actual physical road map laid out across the front of the bus. Yeah, I think we're somewhere in the middle of who knows where the hell this is, but nowadays you got a GPS on your phone and everybody's like, hey bro, I think you missed the last turn, and you're like, yeah, you're right. It's crazy. Just follow the blue line and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah. I use a thing called Waze, and it tells you even tells you if a cop's coming like 2 blocks ahead.
Yeah. You got radar ahead. Slow it down, boys.
Yeah.
That's probably saved my ass a few dozen times.
Yeah, me too. So do you have any other projects in the works besides Limberlost?
Well, I mean, I'm involved with a few things. I've been playing with a group of guys, Tommy Bowen, myself, and Stet Howland. We did a album. We recorded the album just as a soundtrack for a Marvel Comics movie that they're working on right now,
Right.
and in hopes that some of the tracks would be put in throughout the movie. And then, of course, Tommy, he got, all excited about it. And now the labels are excited about it. So there's an opportunity for things to happen with that. But the band's called NYC. So I do that. Limberlost is kind of like on the forefront right now because we just, got the new album dropping and so much excitement happening with the band right now. Metal Church is in the Where Are We Now file. So I really don't know what to say about Metal Church. We toured Australia to December 2 years ago, I guess. And we got back from that, and then the band just kind of went into hibernation. So we've all just done other things to stay busy. So, for the last 3 years, I've been, doing shows with Autograph. And there was a couple of times that I was busy with Metal Church, and my son Devon actually had to go and play bass for Autograph while I was out with Metal Church. So Devon's got a little Autograph history himself. What do you probably 5, 6, 8 shows?
Like 8 shows.
8 shows. Yeah,
there's probably like eight, maybe 9. I don't know. That was fun though.
Yeah,
it was hella fun.
Of course, the guys are douchebags. They're like, at first when I was like, guys, I can't do those shows, but I got a replacement for you. And I knew that at some point that those two roads were going to the intersection was going to happen. And so I was working with Devon and I was teaching him, how to play my parts. And he was listening to the stuff. And he's a guitar player. He's not even a fucking bass player. But anyway, he's like, yeah, I could do it. And so I told him, I was like, yeah, I got a bass player. He's all groomed up for you and ready to go. And they're like, what? Well, who do you got? And I was like, my son is the closest you're going to get to me.
Yeah.
And at first they were like, well, why can't he go do the Metal Church stuff and you just stick with us? And I'm like, well, because Metal Church stuff is a little more intricate than the Autograph stuff is. And I've been playing it for 20 years and I can still barely get through it. Anyway, he went to go do the first show and, the guys, they called me up right after the show and Jimmy Bell, he's a guitar player. He calls me up. He's like, hey, we really won't be needing your services anymore, Steve.
Wow. And you do an Elvis show too, right?
Yeah, actually, Devon is in the show too. It's called The King Alive in '85. And touching back a little bit on you were talking about tribute bands. It is a tribute show, and we mostly do casinos and things like that. But I put that show together because I've always been a huge Elvis fan. And it was like my inspiration in music from the time I was 6. My mom and dad brought me to see Elvis when I was 6 in the Seattle Center Coliseum. And at 6 years old, I was blown away. And it was like, I knew at 6 years old what I wanted to do with my life. And the music was going to be it, whether it was, Elvis stuff or, my next band I saw. This is kind of weird. The next band that I actually saw live in concert was Autograph, opening up for Motley Crue. So the second band I saw live was Autograph, which I ended up playing for. And then the third band I saw was Y&T because they were on the bill with Motley Crue, but I didn't know about it. And then Y&T became like one of my favorite bands because I saw them live in concert. And I was like, these guys are amazing. And then, of course, Motley Crue came out and then Kiss. So after I seen Kiss, it was just like a fucking train wreck from there, So this is the result right here. Elvis, Kiss, Whitesnake, Motley Crue, all jumped into one big old snowball, But I put the show together because I wanted to do something that paid tribute to what brought me to be a musician in the first place. Right. And, my roots, I mean, if you want to break it down to the root of it, it's Elvis Presley. And so we do this thing called The King Alive in '85, and it's the Elvis show that never was. If he would have lived in the '80s, what would his show be like? How would it be different from when, he died in '77. So we do what we do. We play 70% of it's probably the actual Elvis songs, but we just rock him up a little bit. We do our own, thing to him, but I sing them just like Elvis. And then we pick some of the big, 80s hits. We do Hold the Line from Toto, Give Me All Your Love Tonight by Whitesnake, I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss. What else we do, man?
Jesse's Girl,
Rick Springfield. I mean, we just take some of these like mega 80s hits and we change them so that we could do them like Elvis style, as if it was Elvis in the 80s.
Cool.
And it's a lot of fun. And, you know, we actually get paid to do that.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. So Devon, what's it feel like, you know, being a young guy and stuff like that, and handing out autographs?
Well, I was doing it a lot within Circus, and I was like a kid too, so I kind of just grew up doing it. But it's always flattering when somebody wants an autograph. I mean, I don't really even try, even if I meet people that are huge rock stars, I really don't care too much for autographs and pictures, because I know I have the memory. I got to meet them. I would rather sit down and have a conversation with them than get a quick picture with them. You know, so I didn't really ask my favorite rock stars that, but so when people come up to me and ask me that, it's pretty cool. Makes me feel pretty good. I like it. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, Devon and his little brother Derek, you know, both of them are in Circus. They both grew up around the music world. I mean, there was times where, you know, I was out with Metal Church on tour for like 3 months, and it's like down to the last 2 or 3 weeks of their summer vacation before they go back to school, and I'm like, guys, I got to either take a week or two off, or you know, the alternative was, guys, I'm bringing my kids out on the road with us, and they're like, you're bringing kids out on the road? So I brought my boys out for about 2 weeks of a Metal Church run.
Dude. It was sick.
It was on the American Metal Blast tour. So it was Stephen Pearcy, LA Guns,
Wasp,
Metal Church, and Wasp. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. It was a badass line.
Yeah, and you know, nobody could believe I had my kids out on it, and they're like, "This is your responsibility. Anything goes wrong, it's on you, Steve." And I'm like, "My kids are totally chill. They're sharing a bunk on the bus. They're not going to be anybody's way." And the guys still talk about it today, that it was the funnest tour that they've ever been on when my kids were on it. Cool. So we would go in for like, you know, we'd go in and I'd be like, "Hey guys, stay on the tour bus. I'll be back in 20 minutes. I got to do sound check." I come back to the bus, and of course they'd be gone, and I'm like, "Fuck, where are my kids?" So, you know, one of the road guys would be like, "Oh, they're over on LA Guns bus."
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, knocking on their door, and they open up the door, and I go, "My kid's on here," and those guys are like laying on the ground laughing because my kids are just cracking them up and shit.
They're funny. They loved us. Those guys loved us.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they kind of grew up about, you know, around the whole thing. Devon's first concert was Kiss, and when he was 5 years old, he ended up Paul Stanley seeing him, because we were in front row, and he's up on my shoulders with the headphones and everything, just singing word for word. And Paul Stanley, I mean, I looked up, and like, he's the thing on the big screen, you know, it's just all him like this. And so Paul basically pulls him up on stage. At the end of the show, gives him his guitar, signs it, and gives him a guitar. I'm standing there, the bombs are going off. I got my kid in my arm, like holding Paul Stanley's guitar in my arm. I'm in total disbelief. And then Doc McGee comes up and is like, "Hey, Mr. Stanley, I'd like to meet you guys backstage if you got a few minutes." And I'm like, "Oh, let me check my itinerary here." You know?
Yeah. I'll think about it. Yeah.
So, you know, we went backstage, you know, and me, I mean, you know, I'm in a band. I'm around people all the time like this, but Kiss has always been like my big thing, right? Kiss and Elvis, my two big things. So, I mean, I was like, you know, I was kind of fanboy, because I was like all sitting in a room with Paul Stanley, and Devon just comes running right up to him, jumps on his lap, starts talking to him about him, everything. And Paul gave him a book from the concert, you know, a program. And Dev's just going through, "That's Ace, that's Peter, that's you." What do you say to Paul? He goes, "I like that Paul better," pointing to the makeup Paul, right?
Wow. Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a great night. And they just kind of grew up around it. So yeah, I mean, as far as being like shell shocked from, you know, rock stars or movie stars, I think they got over that a long time ago.
Yeah.
I do have a picture. It's actually his little brother signing his first ass. They're playing Hempfest up here in Seattle. Yeah. Some chick just turned around and pulled his head, and he's just like,
wow. Definitely cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what you call proper parenting right there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Limberlost, Steve, and Devon, Unger, thanks a lot for the chat, and I appreciate it. Congratulations on the album. Seems like it's going to take off. It's an amazing album, and
I sure hope so.
I wish you guys the best. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Just
stay listening. We got a bunch more stuff coming out.
Yeah. Just don't go anywhere. We got all kind of things happening, and without you guys' support, we're not much. So hang in there. Be with us, would you? All right.
Need subscribers. Share it. Share your friends. Views. Subscribe. Everything. That helps us out the most right now.
Tell your friends.
Cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, guys.
Later,
Take it easy, man.
Bye-bye.